This was the second quarterfinal of the Eink Tablet World Cup, with the mighty Boox Tab X taking on the little A5X from Supernote. Let's find out what happened. Most of the bookies would have had their money on the Tab X as coming out as the winner of this one, but it's going to be one of those really interesting scraps between two really well loved and well thought about devices. So this little comparison was part of a live stream where I played out a World Cup of Eink tablets. It's not the final verdict on how these two tablets compare, but really it's just a fun way to make a whole load of side-by-side comparisons and give you a bunch of demos of the standout features of these great devices. I hope you'll join me on a future live stream, and I'll look forward to answering your questions live. This one doesn't actually fit onto the screen perfectly well, but this is going to be the Tab X here on the left and the Supernote A5X. So this quarterfinal really is a bit of David and Goliath. This is a massive screen on here. If you haven't had the pleasure of using an A4 Eink tablet yet, see if you can find one out inexpensive, old Lumi or something, old Max Lumi or something, or the old paper, or just see if you can test one out somewhere, because it is really, really quite good. You'll notice on Boox, look, it's already synced across the notes from the previous one there as well. So Notepad 2's been updated. So this is an incredible experience working on a big screen like this. And then there is David in this equation, which is the A5X. So this is the Tab X. And immediately it's going to score because of that big screen. And if you want e-reading, if you want to do a reading of large PDFs or anything like that, having an A4 screen is great. It really is. It's really fabulous. So the little David over here, Supernote A5X, not scoring just so, and it's going to look like a bit of a walkover. It seems on paper this is one of the most mismatched things. Also, we've got other sort of quite standard features actually, but something that doesn't happen on the Supernote. There is no front light, I should say, which reflects down onto the ink and up into your eyes. There's no light at all on the Supernote A5X. So that again is going to be another easy win for the Tab X. Wow, what a machine. It does seem straight away that it's going to sort of absolutely blow this one away, isn't it? And it looks like Supernote are going to be going home, but it's half time and pretty one-sided first half. And it's going to take a great team talk from the coach to actually turn things around here on the A5. And in the second half, sure enough, the A5 comes out fighting. And the world-class accessories, these accessories that they have on the Supernote are excellent. And this is the pen that I believe we were talking about just earlier on, which is the ceramic nib. And the ceramic nib does not wear out. Okay, it's actually harder. It's a ceramic. It means that when you actually touch that onto the ink, onto the surface of the screen, instead of it being a soft kind of either pencil or like a felt feel, then it actually pushes into the screen slightly, and it feels like you're going to do a damage. It feels like you're going to damage your screen. It feels like you're going to scratch the screen at first. But then you realize that what Supernote have done is they've placed this kind of film on the front, which actually indents and then it regenerates. And so it has this very different feel to all the other tablets. It has a very different feel, which is like writing with a rollable. Some people love it. Some people hate it. I would suggest it is a better feel for writing like words a lot, whereas this is a better feel. This is a kind of softer touch, felter feel, more felt feeling is better probably for drawing. And the famous Remarkable 2 feeling is more like a pencil on paper. So that is going to be a goal for the Supernote. It's not just the way it indents, but actually the whole accessories and the way they've been thought out and the whole lineup is actually an excellent point. And I think they're going to get a goal for that. And here's the way you erase on here. You can actually press 2 fingers on and it actually turns the pen into an eraser. Get it right. Takes a couple of goes sometimes. Just because I would not being all that used to it, have not used that recently, but it does become kind of second nature, that eraser function there, when you're using it all the time. So we're up to 2-1. But the Tab X is this incredible digital sketchbook. I've been doing quite a lot of drawing on it recently, and they've actually changed the pencil tool now such that you do have tilt. And that means that you can get a thin line or you can get a very thick line without changing the actual tool. And that is excellent. I do really like that. The size of it makes it a wonderful digital sketchbook. Having the eraser there all the time as well. Well, it's not necessarily an advantage because you've got your 2 fingers all the time. But I think drawing on this there is no doubt that the experience of drawing on the Tab X is better than the experience of drawing on the Supernote, so it's going to get a goal there. So what a game so far. The next thing I want to talk about is the A5 background text recognition. So without even thinking, I'd written that some time ago. I'd written that before we'd actually done the live stream. There we are. It has actually managed to recognize that in the background. You know, it obviously didn't take that long, but what you can be doing is it just saves you so much time and thought that always your handwriting, when you're in this background text recognition type of notepad, your handwriting is being recognized in the background. It's a wonderful feature. I've got to focus again. It's a wonderful feature. And here's why I always say, if you want to write longhand, like if you want to write out large pieces of text, then go for the Supernote, because it just does it. And it does it without you asking to it. So it makes it very, very flowy. And the fact that you can write a whole page, you see it's actually got all of what I've written just there, both the bit I had written beforehand and the bit I've just done there. It just is so flowy. So that's absolutely brilliant. And that is going to certainly be a score for our dear Supernote. Kind of a fan's favourite, the Supernote, I think. So we're up to 3-2. What a game. The next one, the integrated screen share, is actually really, really good on the Supernote. What you can do at any point is you can share your screen to HTML. It's not that one. You can share the document via QR code there. It's from the top menu, isn't it? Yeah, so this one here, which is grayed out currently, I must not be on the internet to save battery life. But this one here, just you click that and then you go to a web page and you can bookmark that so it's quick and easy to get back to. And it just shows this on the web page. As long as you're on the same network, it just shows it straight away. No fuss, no setting up, no cables. Really, really quick and easy to share your screen on the Supernote. Fantastic implementation. Now, it's not hard to share your screen on here. You can use Miracast, but you need to have a screen that also accepts Miracast. And what I find in my school, which is really annoying actually, is that the whiteboards don't have Miracast built in, and you have to use the Promethean app, which is really annoying. It's just another app that you have to open before you can use it. Whereas this is very straightforward, very simple to use. And I think that the screen share is going to actually level this one up for the Supernote, which is fabulous to see. So this is really exciting. We were expecting this to be a bit one-sided when the size of this came out here. And lastly, we're talking once again about how well designed that whole ecosystem is, how well designed and well thought through all these things are, and how they're designed with people in mind, and how they're designed with the feedback of other people. And they publish their roadmap and they talk about that, and actually it contributes to this almost emotional attachment that people have with Supernote and their A5X. And although the players are looking tired, the last play, Supernote is going to bring up that really well-designed note-taking system. All the additions, like you can link to different pages here on this document. You can link to different pages in the whole of the Supernote. It just becomes your notebook. It just does what it says it does. It just becomes your notebook. And you can also build out table of contents by making titles or doing keywords or doing stars. And if you use this well, you can do bullet journaling here on this device better, more seamlessly than any other tablet. It is like a paper notebook, like a bullet journal with all those contents pages and things like that. All of those ideas, you can really go to town on it with this. Whereas this is very good. It has all the features, but it is still a thought to get around. It's still how do I do this? If you trust your Supernote and you live with your Supernote and you get to know it really, really well, it does become like your right arm. It does become something that you know really, really well, and it becomes really intuitive. It becomes sort of second nature. And that is why this one is going to end up, I'm missing my 3 here. Tab X had 3, but the Supernote is going to score a last minute winner, which I'm sure some of you will be pleased about here. And it's going to win as 4-3 here. So actually the Supernote is going to progress into the next round, and I'm going to put this wonderful device as well, the Tab X, definitely one I would consider if it's in your price bracket. Haven't talked about a lot of its features there, but it didn't lose. It just ran out of time against the Supernote. I had a leather case as well, and I liked it a lot, but actually my wife had the cloth one on her smaller A6X, and she really likes that because it's just don't know, it just feels a bit more simple. It isn't like, it almost feels a bit precious, the leather, whereas this just has this kind of more hard wearing. It's obviously not real cloth, it's like a plasticky cloth, but actually it still feels really nice and soft to the touch. And I think actually I personally prefer this one as well, which is the cheaper one, interestingly enough. Yeah, I know that is a very difficult one, Gianfranco. Still at that price point, many years after the release. We are looking forward to some refreshes here, but they aren't going to be cheaper than that, are they? And that is one thing which I haven't mentioned, and it could come up in a later discussion and debate. So there we go. Do I really think the Tab X is a worse device than the A5X? Well, no, I don't, but it does depend on you and your use case. So hopefully that was just a good overview of the actual features, and I'm looking forward to seeing the A5X in the next round. Who doesn't like an underdog story at a World Cup? The result doesn't necessarily mean that one of these tablets is actually better than the other. And if you do want to know my final conclusions about how all the features of these two tablets stack up, then the best place to have a look is on the website ewritable.com, where Dan has used my testing data to let you make your own comparison chart between any Eink tablets which might interest you. And all of that data is based off my full 2 weeks of testing, and I haven't just pulled down the press release and filmed a video based on what that says, or nor have I just opened the box and played about for a few hours and pressed record. If I've reviewed an Eink tablet, I've used it in my daily work life, in my professional job as a teacher for at least 2 weeks. And that way I really find out what it's like to live with and rely on it. And you really find out the benefits and the bugs that way. So here are my video reviews of the two tablets featured in today's match.